more you want with me, Jack? Keep coming.
Let me get the bookcase.
Are they ass phones?
Hey!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 action thriller Shadow Force. The film is co-written and directed by Joe Carnahan and it stars Kerry Washington, Omar Sy, Mark Strong and Method Man. Right, okay, now the film focuses on, we've got Kerry Washington's character, Kyra, and you've got Omar Sy's character, Isaac. They used to be members of an elite fighting force called Shadow Force. Now, this group was put together by Mark Strong's character, Jack Cinder, who was the head of this secret operation of these, basically, it's a group of killers, really. Now, Kerry Washington's character and Omar Sy's character basically fall in love. They end up leaving the Shadow Force and they have a child together. However, years later, Mark Strong discovers of their existence still and their location, and he basically goes out full on for revenge in order to take them out. Right, what are my thoughts on Shadow Force? Well, honestly, when I first saw this, kind of the synopsis of it and that kind of thing, I thought it looked, to me, just like a pretty bog standard, direct-to-streaming action film. I didn't hold out a lot of hope for it, to be perfectly honest. I thought, it looked fairly run-of-the-mill. And then, when I looked a little bit deeper, and I saw, oh, they've got Mark Strong in this. Oh, and hang on, it's co-written and directed by Joe Carnahan. There has to be some quality here. Now, Joe Carnahan, if you don't recognise that name, he has done, I think, some of the most underrated action films of the last decade and a half. He's done things like The Grey with Liam Neeson, Smoking Aces, Boss Level, fantastic film, Cop Shop, Narc, and I think the most underrated of the lot, The A-Team. This guy is very, very good at action thrillers. Very, very good. They're generally very watchable, and they don't disappoint often at all. So I thought, well, okay, I'm going to definitely try this one out now. And while I think this is certainly got some very, very strong production values and the action is very, very competently done, as you would expect with a Joe Carnahan film, it's also probably his weakest one that I have watched personally in the last, well, out of all his films that I have watched, this is probably the weakest I have seen of his. It's like a I don't know, it's like a bargain bin remake of The Long Kiss Goodnight, the Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson film. It's got that kind of vibe to it, you know what I mean? Apart from the fact that, Kerry Washington and her husband, Omar Sy, they don't have amnesia like Gina Davis, but essentially they get out of this, seemingly deadly group, the Shadow Force, which, nobody leaves. Mark Strong's character discovers them accidentally, if you like, and that's it. They've got a target on the back then. So it's a similar story and setup to The Long Kiss Goodnight, but without any of the tongue-in-cheek, any of the humour that made that film work. And it just doesn't feel as accomplished as that. And I didn't necessarily buy Kerry Washington as this ultra-skilled military person. I mean, ultimately, she's the lead here. She's the action lead in this film. Omar Sy, who plays her partner stroke husband, is just as, if you like, gifted military-wise. But the film constantly makes it clear that Kerry Washington is the main one in that relationship. She's a better shot than him. when they decide, kind of bafflingly, they decide when she has this child, they decide basically to split up. And she then spends, I think it's 2 years or something like that, trying to hunt down these people that she knows are a threat to them. And then that leaves Isaac, her husband, if you like, to raise their son together. So she abandons the family, really, but it's in an agreement with him so that she can go off and deal with these people that she knows will be after them. So my question is, what has she been doing for that 2 or 3 years? Because it would seem that as soon as Mark Strong discovers them again and goes after them, everybody's after them. So who exactly did she take out in that 2 or 3 years? It was a very baffling decision for and the reason why she was the one to do it, the film argues, is that she's like the better killer, I suppose. And I don't know. It just kept pushing that agenda. She's the best one. She's better than him, you know. And he's left to raise the child and stuff. But it's very, very clear as well. There's a scene right at the beginning, which is how they get discovered, where he stops a bank robbery, kicks their asses, sort of thing. So I mean, it's competently done. This, I just didn't buy Kerry Washington as the action lead. They didn't sell that well enough. Just telling me she's better and her firing a few shots in a firing range to show she's a better shot than him. It just, there was a lot of stuff I didn't buy in it, really. Regardless of how good Joe Carnahan tries to make the action scenes look, and he does make them look very, very good for the most part here. But quite clearly, the one who steals the show here is Mark Strong. He has always been a really good villain in movies. He always plays a fantastic villain, and it's no different here. He's very much over the top. He's very pantomime, but it's delightfully wonderful. You know what I mean? The things that he does and says in this, I mean, he's absolutely despicable, but he's undeniably, you know, he's got this real charm to him as well. And I enjoyed his performance tremendously, and he was the best thing in the film for me. So while I don't think this is one of Joe Carnahan's best, it's certainly competently done. The action scenes are good, and if you like well-made action films, then you're probably going to enjoy this one. It's just, for me, those films I mentioned earlier that Joe Carnahan has done, this is, I don't think, on the level of any of them, in my opinion, anyway. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.